Hi everyone, in today's video, let's talk about a very simple lighting principle that's guaranteed to level up your photography lighting skills. So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. So before anything else, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel and would want to learn more about off-camera flash photography or maybe just photography in general, then this channel is for you. So you might want to consider subscribing, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And if you want to see more of my images, you could always find me on Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. And by the way, before I get into the core of this video, I am actually in the process of giving away beautiful or 3 really fantastic giveaways from Nanlite, the details of which I will put in the description below. But basically, I'm giving away a Nanlite Pavotube T87X, a Nanlite FS150, and a Nanlite FS300B. So if you want to check out how to win those prizes, check out the link in the description below. Okay, so let's talk about a very simple lighting principle that I believe that a person, if mastered, will really greatly improve his or her photography lighting skills. And what is that? Okay, let's put it in context. Learning lighting is all about, well, when you start off with photography, you learn light by basically looking at the works of other people. Now, the thing is, there has been a trend of just using one light, especially with off-camera flash photography. One light, overpower the sun, that's it. Maybe use 2 lights, put a kicker light somewhere, overpower the sun, main light, make everything darker, edit it, that's it. That is what the lighting trend is happening now. But in reality, lighting is far more than that. For me personally, something that needs to be mastered is the principle of understanding the purpose of light. Before you even light anything, you have to understand what it is that light is, or what it is the purpose of your light is. So what do I mean by that? There are 2 types of light for me. There is your ambient light and your artificial light. When I refer to your ambient light, I am actually talking about light that's in existence in the scene when you arrive. And artificial light is light that you introduce in that scene, whether it be a flash, a flashlight, a continuous light, anything. Any light that you introduce in that scene is your artificial light. So again, ambient light is the light that's already there. Artificial light is what you put in. So, knowing those things, there is actually a principle that I live by. It's about the purpose of light. So the purpose of light is either your kicker light or your rim light, your fill light, your background light, your main light, and your hair light. So 5, basically. These are 5 things that you will see in every scene that you're actually going to be shooting. Now, the question is, the question that you should always ask yourself with these principles is that, what will I do with the light? It is not just about what you will do with your artificial light, but rather you have to remember that ambient light is also light. So ambient light can be a very, very powerful tool in creating your story for photography. I'll give you a very basic example. Let's say, for example, you're inside a restaurant at night and you want to shoot a couple very dimly lit, very moody, very romantic. And you ask yourself, what are you going to do with the ambient light? Are you going to completely remove it the same way a lot of photographers really just remove light and just say, I have a flash, I'm just going to overpower everything, and that's how we're going to do it? No. What you have to do first is, when you enter a scene, is you analyze. You understand now what is the purpose of each light that is in existence in your scene first, your ambient light. So will this light actually have an effect? Will this light have an effect on this, 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 and this? Once you've pinpointed that, then you remove the ones that you don't need. So how do you do that? Maybe you could turn off the light, or maybe you could use your camera settings to remove that light that you don't like. But the most important thing is that you understand what your ambient light is doing and you have a specific purpose for your ambient light. From there, it will now dictate whether or not your artificial light will be your main light, your rim light, your kicker light, or your fill light. Because if you have good ambient light already hitting the face but flat, then maybe you could decide that you want to get rid of that example already. Sorry, I veered away from that example of shooting in a restaurant, but basically shooting in a restaurant. I'll get back into that later. Let's say, for example, you were shooting on a cloudy day and there was beautiful soft light. Whenever you're shooting on a cloudy day, it's always going to be beautiful soft light. However, the biggest problem with beautiful soft light like that is that they tend to be flat. So what are you going to do? Are you going to basically just put a flash in to replace your existing ambient light to create some depth, to create some shadows? However, when you do that, you ask yourself, why am I going to waste beautiful soft light? Right? You already have beautiful soft light, which we're all striving for, especially for shooting a portrait. And you just want to be able to create depth. So why not use your artificial light as a kicker light? So you see, analyzing light or understanding what your ambient light is doing will dictate what your artificial light will do. It's not just about having this setup in mind that you're so used to that you go to every scene and you just shoot the same thing. That for me is not lighting. That is just basically replicating and replicating and replicating whatever it is that you think works and just doing it all over again. I guess nothing wrong with that. However, if you want to grow, you have to put in all these other elements to create a scene that actually makes sense. Okay? So lighting is the one that actually puts everything together. So ambient light and flash, there's always going to be a good relationship to that. So understanding what the light or the purpose of the light is will also dictate the color of your light and the quality of your light. I already briefly touched about soft light. Having to shoot portraits, shooting portraits my whole photography career, I know that soft light is always going to be the best light, especially for women. However, there are instances when you want hard light. And the ambient light is usually the one that dictates that, because one thing I love doing is that I want to match the quality of my existing ambient light to that of my artificial light so that everything just looks seamless. So what do I mean by that? There are some instances in which you'd want to shoot with hard light because all the shadows behind you that are maybe beautiful is already shot or is being created by hard light. So you want your subject to seamlessly fit into that particular scene. Or sometimes I'd use hard light to show muscular structures, or a man actually would look better in hard light because it's just going to make them look bigger. Okay, soft light tends to remove a lot of shadows or tends to soften up the shadows, therefore not giving too much shape. But if you do hard light, it's just going to define the shape. So that's actually beautiful also when it comes to shooting muscular men. Now, so that's what I mean about artificial light or ambient light actually dictating the quality of light of your artificial light. But at the same time, your ambient light will also dictate the color of your artificial light. So let's go back to my first example. Let's say you're shooting that romantic dinner and you want to add an artificial light to that particular scene. So now you analyze. You understand first what your light is doing, the purpose of each light. So you've established your ambient light. You're going to keep it as that. Maybe dim it down a bit. If you can't physically dim it down, then you'll use your camera settings, your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture just to get that beautiful ambient light set on how you want it to be. Then you will focus your artificial light on your subject to focus the light so everything just goes towards them. So the eye goes towards where you want it to go. So that will naturally dictate, number one, again, the quality of your light. Normally, when you're shooting indoor like that with a continuous light, if you don't have directional light coming down, more often than not, you will get soft light. It's, even if you just have a candle here or some light here, natural light or continuous light will naturally be softer. So the artificial light that you're going to put on your subject should actually match that. So it should be pseudo soft light. But the most important thing also is you have to check the color of your ambient light. If the color of your ambient light is in the warmer tone, you'd want to change the color of your artificial light to a warmer tone too, so that you could just get a good balance of your artificial light and your a good balance of your ambient light and your artificial light. So that all goes back to just understanding the principle of the purpose of each light. So every single light, so just to sum up all these things that I said, it's very simple. All you have to do is always determine what the light is doing and what the light that you're going to put in will do. So your ambient light should have a purpose. If it doesn't have a purpose, remove it completely. Make sure that your artificial light will also have a purpose. If not, don't even put any artificial light. So that's it. That's very simple. And I can guarantee mastering that will greatly improve the way you light or you approach your lighting. So if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And I do hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please do subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, click that notification bell. And if you did like this video, like the video too. And if you want to see this type of principles applied, check out my Instagram. It's at Jiggie Alejandrino. Okay, till the next video.